I'm not qualified to give any medical advice.
Tanning is a very popular activity during the summer months for good reason. It boosts your mood, provides vitamin D, prevents sunburns, and gives you healthy looking skin. So today I'm going to go over some of the science of tanning and UV lights. So there are two types of ultraviolet radiation involved with human skin, UVA and UVB. UVA radiation is responsible for tanning. To tan, UVA radiation penetrates to the lower layers of the epidermis, where they trigger cells called melanocytes to produce a pigment called melanin. Melanocytes actually produce two different types of melanin, eumelanin and pheomelanin, where the more eumelanin you have, the higher your level of UV protection, which is why pale people tan and why darker people don't burn as easily. There are however some cases where people don't tan, like redheads, who produce far more pheomelanin than eumelanin, so they don't brown when they tan and instead get reddish yellow skin which looks like a sunburn and provides little to no protection. And albinos, who have little to no pigmentation in their skin, hair or irises because they don't produce the enzymes TYROSINASE, which is used to create melanin. UVA actually causes a tan by oxidizing the melanin, after which it's absorbed into the skin and makes your skin darker, more tanned, and better at protecting you from the sun's UV rays. UVB rays are the reason that paler people get sunburned and is what creates vitamin D in your skin. To create vitamin D, UVB light activates a cholesterol substance in your skin called provitamin D, which undergoes a process called isomerization, which means that the DNA rearranges itself into calcitrol, which is the active form of vitamin D in the kidney. It's theorized that this is why paler people develop paler skin, as in the north there are very low levels of UV light, so people maximize the amount of vitamin D they produce because they didn't need sun protection. You may have heard the phrase, sunlight is the best disinfectant. This comes from the fact that UV rays break up the DNA of cells, and then when the cell reforms, it reforms incorrectly, which causes the cell to perform apoptosis, which is the equivalent of a cell killing itself. In response to this, your body increases blood flow in the affected areas, making your skin warm and red, opening up capillary walls so that white blood cells can come in and clear the dead skin cells, which is why your body peels. And the damaged and dead cells release chemicals that are translated as a painful burning sensation on the affected area. In the case that a damaged cell doesn't do apoptosis or die naturally, it can become a tumour or a cancer, where the main treatment is cutting out the tumours, leaving people visibly scarred. UVA also contributes to premature aging, as it breaks down the natural collagen of the skin and attaches the dermis's connective tissue, leading skin to become more rough, stained, wrinkled, and inelastic. UV rays also temporarily slow someone's immune system because of the usage of white blood cells, which could otherwise be used for fighting disease. And as your body shifts from Th1 helper cells to Th2 helper cells, your immune system shifts its focus away from the viruses in the body and rather protects your skin from sunburn. The most obvious way to protect yourself is sunscreen, as broad-spectrum sunscreen of SPF 30 blocks up to 97% of the sun's rays. To be effective, sunscreen should be fully absorbed into the skin 15 to 30 minutes before you step into the sun. And you should reapply sunscreen once every 3 or 4 hours, especially if you're swimming or sweaty, as many sunscreens are water soluble. Another reason to reapply sunscreen is that the sun breaks down ingredients in sunscreen, which keep you from UVA radiation. And what UVA rays do to your skin can't be seen or felt, so it's important to keep yourself protected. The SPF number on a sunscreen shows the level of UVB protection it gives. If you go out for 10 minutes and get burned, with an SPF of 30 you should get burned after 300 minutes. And to keep yourself protected from UVA radiation, you should use a sunscreen with broad spectrum labels. Another way to protect yourself is to use tanning machines to create a base tan, which is really bad for you and your skin. Having a base tan is equivalent to wearing a sunscreen with a sun protection factor of only 3 to 4. But the process for building a base tan is using a tanning machine and shocking your entire system with enough UVA radiation that it stimulates all the melanocytes in your body, which isn't good if your goal is protecting your skin. In the past, melanoma mostly affected people in their 50s or older, but today's dermatologists see patients in their 20s and even late teens. In fact, one study observing 63 women diagnosed with melanoma before age 30 found that 61 of them used tanning beds. Tanning beds can also cause inflammation of the cornea, triggering contacts and ocular cancer, so be sure to wear tanning goggles if you do plan to use tanning machines. The sun's rays are strongest between 11 AM and 3 PM, so during this period use sunscreen and wear a hat, and if possible take a break from the sun. Many skin cancers including melanoma are hereditary, so if a family member has had it, or any skin cancer, you may be at risk, so be careful. Remember that most of the more than 1 million skin cancers diagnosed each year in the US are considered sun-related. The reason why you might get sunburnt in snowy climates is because UV light reflects off things, and when it hits snow 90% of it is reflected, and when it hits sand 20% of it is reflected. In the description I've linked a short video about bacterial cells under UV light.